problem with last year, it's snowing, and we still have to move it, because it's snowing.
The change dates were
Like all the bars can keep.
it's, well, they're gonna drive or fly or whatever.
Wow.
So she knows.
Yeah, this must be
Just that big.
This one I like to see.
So if it's snowing, I'm not.
It's nice, it's not. And they,
This is,
but he knows. Where they put together.
Well, no, she
This, and then she was here.
You feeling better?
Much.
You're getting the flu? No, a lot of people. My grandson, the oldest, 14.
Didn't get along. I don't know, the corpse and I get along. They finally left. He started his own So, you know, in the.
Feel better.
Good evening. This is a workshop meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Victory Gardens held on February 4, 2020. I call this meeting to order and declare the quorum present. Would everybody please rise to the pledge of allegiance to the flag of our country and please remain standing for a moment of silence for our military.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. This meeting has been advertised in one newspaper's daily record in compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Attendance?
Councilwoman Cheatham. Here. Councilman Glass.
Here.
Councilwoman Hiscock. Here. Councilwoman White. Here. Councilman Lorenzo.
Present.
Councilwoman Garcia Montez.
President.
Okay. Tonight's meeting is a discussion of the 2020 municipal budget, and this meeting will run an hour. About quarter of it stops so the audience can ask questions, and we'll be opening it up to the public. So, Joe.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is my second budget with you all, and I thought it would be nice. And Debbie and I sat down last week and took a look at some places where we see some costs coming our way. Okay. For instance, there's a
Could you
country
please pull the
project.
microphone up? Thank you.
Better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I usually don't mute a microphone. Sorry about that. We talked about some projects that are coming down the pike that we need to be ready for next year. We looked at a storm drain project over on Franklin Road. We're going to try to get ready to tackle some capital. We talked about some tree work that the borough needs to have done to the tune of around $12,000. We took a look at a new grant that we got from the Department of Transportation to handle Garfield Avenue, Taft Avenue, and Polk Court. We took a look at some of the engineer's estimates for his time for next year, to make sure we were able to address all of those items with the draft, which is really at this point more of a rough outline, okay, of the budget that is that's in front of you. We also took a look at sanitation costs, which are going up just a little bit. We do have a draft document from the RVRSA that they haven't given us a final fee schedule for next year, and we tried to factor all of those items into the budget. Okay? Deb and I had a brief conversation about salaries and wages, and we've added another raise into this year's budget for the staff. The total increase for salaries for the staff this year is around $23,000 in the aggregate across all positions. Okay? Which, out of a $1.5 million budget isn't really a whole heck of a lot. Okay?
5% is a bit much, don't you think?
Well, that's what we used last year's
Last
starting point.
year, we did it for the first time. Usually we do 2%.
We use it as a starting point.
Oh, okay.
We can certainly work up or down. I wanted to see what that did with our existing revenue streams and what that did with our, to see if it was going to be manageable or affordable. You can certainly go up and down from there. I just built in where we were for last year as a starting point. Okay. That said, we've got a budget in front of us in draft form only. Okay. That is pretty affordable. Okay. Some of the revenues that we had anticipated this year did what I was hoping they were going to. We did very, very well with interest this year. Okay. We are going to have to take a look at that sewer rate study this year. Okay. The draft figures from the RVRSA are starting to get dangerously close to equaling what we're taking in for sewer rents now, and what we're taking in for sewer rents now does not factor in any of the operating costs of running a sewer utility within the walls of the borough hall. So, that's something we're going to definitely be addressing during 2020, is looking at those sewer rates. So that said, I've got a draft budget, you've got it in front of you. We can certainly look at increasing certain line items. There are projects that you guys have in mind for the upcoming year. That's the whole putting a budget together workflow, right? If there are projects that are near and dear to your heart that need to be addressed during the upcoming year, now's the time for us to talk about them and get them out there and figure out how we're going to address those needs.
Hey Joe, now as you said about RVSR, SA, we have no idea how much that's gonna go up, do we?
Now, they've given us a draft, and that draft looks like I added $15,000 to that budget this year. I took our RVRSA to 135. That's conservative. That number may be higher. The draft document that they've given us has an estimate of up to 130, 138 in round numbers. You may need to work a little bit more. That number may settle closer to 140. Okay, but again, I wanted to put a budget together to see what we do for it.
And Joe, question for you: let's say it settled at 140.
Yeah.
How much more would our sewer bill go up?
Well, I'm still waiting on some numbers from engineer from Leon. Because while it's pretty easy to figure out residential $190 a year, commercials $190 a quarter, I need some gallonage figures from Leon to be able to calculate the overage. Okay, to see what the additional billing cost would be. What I started to do while I'm waiting for those numbers to come in from Leon is I started calling around to some of the other RVRSA member towns that are in our immediate area to see what their sewer rates look like.
Right.
Our rates are really, really low compared to the surrounding communities that are around us. One of the areas I think where we are kind of giving away the store is with the commercial properties. The overage that we're charging the commercial properties is around $3.20 per 1,000 gallons. Once you get beyond 80,000 gallons a quarter, 80,000 gallons of water a quarter is an awful lot of water. I'll give you an example. Randolph, my contract, is $6.20 per 1,000 for everything over 30,000 gallons. And that's our nearest neighbor, and its rate structure roughly approximates ours. A lot of the other towns have their sewer rate structure based on the size of your sewer pipe. It's based on, they've got tiered gallonage flow We don't have that many commercial properties in town, we've only got 25% to worry about. So we're looking for more of a one-size-fits-all methodology rather than, you know, a tiered structure. Randolph is the closest match to what we're doing. And their residential rates are significantly higher than ours. Okay. I'm trying to put together the study in such a way that the majority of the increases are going to be borne by the folks putting the most load on the system, which is why I'm waiting for the commercial usage rates to come in from Leon. Okay. And that's why I'm not building that rate increase into the budget at this time.
Right.
Probably not going to be done in time for us to get the ordinance on the books and ready to go before the budget needs to be adopted, though we will get it done before the first and sewer bills go out. So the plan is to use the revenue that we've got right now in the budget. Hopefully we generate the surplus back to fund balance during the course of the new rate structure hits. Okay. But I want to try, we haven't done a sewer, I looked at the last ordinance we did. 1997 was the last time the sewer rates were looked at in town. That's 23 years ago, for those of you doing the math at home. It's probably that time. Okay. That's a long time to not touch a fee structure. Okay. By doing moderate increases over time, you not have to shock the system when you play catch up 23 years later. Okay. You got to try to structure that way so that it's not a shock to the system. Okay. And like I said, where we can, we're going to try to lay the majority of the folks using the most water and putting the most load on the sewer system. Once we get the numbers from Leon, we'll see what's possible and we'll work through it.
Right. And you did say ours was $3.20, or commercial was $3.20 per thousand.
The over 80,000. We're giving you the first 80,000 gallons of sewage free. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's triple, double or triple what everybody else is doing. When I took a look at Denver, as an example, we're 97 cents per thousand from zero. There's no base water charge built into their sewer. And the first gallon you use is 97 cents a thousand. Theirs was again structured by pipe size. Their annual is $1.3. They're 50 to 1,300 depending on the size of the sewer pipe.
Did you take a look at Necrons? Is there most, similar to ours?
I think because of the geographic distance from us, they're kind of far, they're almost Sussex County, they're so far out.
But the population is kind of like ours, closer to ours than Randolph or Denver.
Again, I was trying to stay with RBRC customers that were in our immediate.
Well, you can look up, find out
Sure,
about.
I'll see if I can find it online, if not, I'll call over to their town.
That would be good.
Okay.
On the second page, alcohol education rehabilitation, $80,000.
Oh, shoot, that's my mistake, sorry about that. That's the DOT grant. Well, we don't have the alcohol education rehabilitation grant this year. I just subbed in the DOT grant on that line.
Is that income?
No, that's the DOT grant that we got.
Oh, okay.
Last year was $100,000 for Adams and Polk. And this year we gave $80,000 for those other roads.
Okay.
I just got to change.
So we just cross that out?
Yeah, cross it alcohol education rehabilitation. It's called DOT grant. I apologize.
And down CIF, that's capital improvement.
That's the capital improvement fund.
It used to be 10 grand, now it's up to 35.
It used to be 10 grand, but you also used to put money in for the reserves for drainage and improvements.
Yeah.
And we just rolled
At one time they wanted to cut it out, and I.
Yeah, so we
Okay,
rolled-
and RUT?
reserve for uncollected taxes. That's a mandatory state appropriation.
Oh, okay, all right. I ask every year.
Okay, I'll answer it every year.
Should I ask a question?
Sure.
We have proposed budget for 2020, we have the 2019 budget.
Yep.
Could we have a listing of how much we spent?
Sure.
Because we don't have that here.
Sure, I can add that to the next one.
It makes it difficult to compare one thing to the other.
Well, you do a rough one. rough approximation?
I just want what we spent.
Okay, I have that.
Correct.
Here,
Out of last year?
line item.
Line.
Out of last year's budget, per line item, in total. We spent
No, I mean, I
$1.275
want
million.
it,
I
like we.
I didn't want it.
I understand your question, I'll give you one. For the purposes of the conversation, I'll give it to you in total, to give a frame of reference to what the borough had. We spent $1.275 million out of the total budget last year, leaving us $160,000 unspent. So we had roughly 10% cushion in the budget overall, unspent. Okay?
Now, I got a sheet
And I
that
can
you
give
gave
that to you
us,
by line item for next week.
Okay, that would be great, thank you.
I got a sheet that you gave us on November 26, 19,
Mhm.
the profits and losses budget versus actual. Alright, now, and different lines over here, I'm just gonna give you a sample of one of them.
Okay?
The 20-120-1 clears S&W.
Okay?
Assuming that the first line is the amount of expenses expedited number, which is 100,000, 04581, and we
Yep.
budget for 2019, 121,000, and leave us with 20,954.19 balance over budget.
Right, that's the November
Correct.
budget date.
The November 26th, almost December.
Right.
That's 20,954.19. And now, in this budget now, you're adding another 10,000 on top of that. That we have a surplus in that particular item. So you're adding 10,000 more dollars to a $20,954 they're already balancing there.
Okay, you're missing the December expenditures though.
Okay, that's why we need
So-
that information on the book over here, so we know,
Okay?
by now you should have that,
I
because
do.
it's February.
I do.
So,
We should have had it,
if
though.
you put that in there, we'll be able to compare what was balanced at that time, and how much you increasing that to. Because if you have followed what you give me in December, the numbers are quite different, high. Now, I do have another line over here that's really thrown me off completely.
Okay.
You're talking about the 23-210-2, other insurance, and you're saying, according to what you sheet, that was paid 6,539, we budget supposedly 59,000, leaving us with 52,461 over budget, according to this.
Okay?
Now, in the new one you gave us, you're saying that you want to increase that one to $52,000 for the 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So how that,
Okay, the borough prepays for their insurance, because the insurance bill is due before the end of the year. I had not charged off that journal entry by at the time of the November statement. That's part of my closeout process for 2019, where I realized that prepaid expense as an actual expenditure and charge it over to the budget. Okay, that number ended up being at the end of the year
so your actual expense was over $52,000 almost? That's one thing that we need in that report to be more accurate, because like the report is right now, you can't hardly understand what took place, because we don't have the final numbers by the end of the year.
That's why. Group insurance number ended up being at the end of the year 52,501, and the other insurance number ended up being 44,327. year end, after we charged off the prepaid expense and put it in the budget.
And we budget 64 in all the insurance,
We budgeted 64,
and it was 52,
and it was 52.
so another, that's,
Which is why we're lowering that estimate this year to 59, okay? We got a rebate check last year on our workers' comp premium. When they came out and did our premium audit, they found, some places where they could save us some money, where the results of previous surveys led to our employees being categorized as more of an at-risk group than others. And when we applied those refunds back against the budget, it lowered our net insurance costs down to 52,000. Okay. When they came out and did the premium audit, they found that our guys were not working in some of the high-risk categories that they previously had been classified in, and we ended up saving money on some of the workers' comp premiums. Okay. That ended up lowering our insurance costs net for the year, and it's going, and that's why I'm putting a reduction in that line item for this year, down from 64,800 to 59,000. Okay.
yeah, I think in this one, you still have quite a space over here that you can add those two items in here.
Okay.
That will give us a better understanding of how money got increased, how it doesn't get increased, or where it had to be increased at. And that will be better, we will have a better, answer for you on the budget. At this point, I think it's, we're still in the kind of limbo type thing, because, it's hard to figure it out unless you go back over here, but over here you're telling me that
Well,
this
you got a whole
is
month,
November.
you got a whole month to go, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got a whole
Because-
December.
Yeah, I cannot.
We had a busy December.
Exactly, so I cannot go by your numbers over here.
Right.
Because we don't know for sure. So, the next time, or maybe, the next time we get me, I might be able to get that information and make it.
I will add, I'll add
Decision.
columns to this document, I want to leave that, no space for everyone.
Right.
I'll add columns for the actuals, and I'll slide it in there. Okay.
Now back to the DOT, is that money that we got in?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet?
DOT grant works on a reimbursement basis.
Okay, so that's not tax, not gonna be tax?
No, the
Okay.
DOT grant, that's gonna be,
Okay, you're just putting it in the budget, but
I
that
have it.
doesn't affect the taxes, okay?
no, I haven't put it in the
No, I
budget.
understand,
People
I
do someone who
understand.
spend money.
Is there any way we can give Hector a raise and road crew?
They put 5% for everybody.
Because he's making like half of what Eddie's making.
Yeah, he hasn't been here since Eddie either.
I think taking 5% out for everybody and 2% like we used to.
Well, like you said, we can start at 5 and work down.
Social Security went up
Yeah.
2.8%.
So we're here for it.
My wife's in education.
Good news is that about a month or so you're not here.
My wife's in
We got plenty of
education.
time. We got plenty of time.
My wife's in education, she got less than 2%.
Bear in mind that those raises added only $20,000 to your budget.
Yeah, but our people's taxes aren't going down either. And now we're just giving the money away. Taxes haven't gone down in years. And then we're gonna raise up the sewer prices, so we have to budget where the taxpayers here, which is everyone, is not gonna be hurt also. And we're not hurt.
I have a question. Regarding salary increases, has it ever been considered to do merit instead of straight across the board increases?
Could you divide it up, in other words?
Or, I mean, that not every individual has to get the same percentage, but cap it, that it will be a maximum of.
Doesn't have to be
Has
across
it
the
ever-
board. I mean, we can have 2%, and if you want somebody specifically to have 5%, I think it can be done, doesn't it?
I mean,
Well, yeah,
sure, they can.
Well, that's what I'm
You know,
asking.
I think if you're gonna put a merit system in there, you're probably, that's arbitrary without an employee evaluation and review policy. And that's, you know, now you need to talk to Phil. Because if you don't want it to sound or look completely arbitrary, and then you need something to stand behind them, how come so-and-so got this and
Right.
you got that?
Should we have that in
It's
place
gonna
at
come
this
back-
point?
If it's gonna come back to performance,
Right.
then you,
I think it should be even across the board, if anything.
yeah, unless you, do I think you should? That's not my call.
No, I think,
Implementing a system of employee appraisals and, you know, and a merit document,
Is-
that's not my call, that's up
I
to
guess
you.
it's something for us to
is
discuss.
it required to be done that way, or?
No, it's not required, no, it's not required to be done that way, I'm just saying, if you wanna do merit, a system of merit, you need to have some way of measuring that merit. Right?
Yeah, but that's part of the,
Yeah.
having employees. That's part of having employees regardless.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying they don't have a system like that in place now.
Oh, that's the whole thing, we don't have stuff over
Right.
here, but it's something that is normally done.
Well, basically, it would only affect the road crew, because everybody else is like from Randolph or Rockaway or whatever. Unless,
So it affect every eye,
well, yeah, Debbie, you,
and any of your other employees,
well, like Ron.
and
Everyone taxes us,
all your, yeah, your collector, your assessor, your finance
Engineers.
officer,
lawyer.
it's everybody.
Yeah, we
No,
don't-
not the attorney.
She's
so
on-
it affects
Some of
you so
those people
much.
we're lucky to have, so we're not gonna be upset then.
It's something worth discussing in the future at least.
It's an excellent suggestion, I mean, everywhere else that I've ever been, I've gotten an employee evaluation at the end of the year, and I've been told what I do well and what I don't do well, and what I can work on, and what my perceived strengths are. Not everywhere I've been, have raises been based on that, and sometimes, you know, if there's a union and everybody's in it under contract, and you get what's in the contract. If the
Right,
contract
yeah.
doesn't account for merit, then there's no merit, okay? That's an administrative policy decision that you guys have to, you know, have to come to terms with, and then decide what you want to do going forward. But as it stands right now, we don't have a system in place that, unless you want to discuss everybody in closed session individually and figure out what their raises are going to be. It's been a policy moving across the board.
Okay, I was curious.
No, it's a good question.
As a public, it's, and we're a private company, it was all like, nobody knew. You know,
Yeah.
you know, oh, $10 is top pay, oh, $10 is ACOS, so you get the new guy and you always corner him, say, hey, what's top pay? And then you go into the boss, say, how come he's, you know.
Right, and that's
you
kind of
know,
why.
And then when it became union, it's all out in the open. Just
Right.
like here, it's public, it would all be public, so. you know.
Well, yes, but, I mean, you still have the right to discuss personnel issues in closed session.
Yeah, well, your personnel, who else's personnel? Not here.
But with this budget as it is right now, our preliminary budget, we don't have nothing to look back on to see how much we spent.
Okay?
So there's really nothing we could do right now. Besides, say 2% raise or 5% raise.
Okay.
That's about the only thing I can see.
Are there any other projects besides the ones that I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting that you'd like to see folded into this budget besides the tree work and the wood work? The fences taken in here.
I think there might be more trees in there, saying 13 or something. Didn't I say there was like 20 or something?
No.
10 to 15 trees on Franklin Road was what I was saying.
Yeah.
12 grand.
How about a new door at the firehouse? That door. What does that fall under? Do we get a grant for that, or does it come out of our fund balance?
Door? Just a door?
Yes.
Well, we have a property maintenance budget. We got a roads and grounds budget. we still have some money left in the ordinance for the firehouse. That's on the cost of the door. Okay. Couple of
We
that.
definitely need a new one.
Couple hundred, couple,
Yeah.
we're talking about a couple $100, a couple
Oh, I
thousand.
don't, we have to get it, we have to get estimate on
You
that.
talking about handicap, or just the door?
The door,
Back.
the back door.
Where, the kitchen?
No, furniture.
We have the furnace.
Oh, that door.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's rusted. It's
Oh,
all rusted, they
Yeah.
probably have to put up a whole new
Well,
door
this door
frame.
here is not too good either for the garage.
The front door or the garage
Yeah,
door?
we talked
Side
about
door.
it,
Oh, the front door too, because the front door is
And the
not,
front door too,
not
yeah.
locking quite where you'd
Right.
like it
Mhm.
Where it's a firehouse.
to. No, over here.
Yeah.
Front door,
The side door?
These doors we just got.
Oh, the front door here, yeah, we
Yeah.
sunk a lot of money
Yeah,
in
right,
those doors.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We sunk a lot of
Yeah, I
money
guess
in
we
those
can
doors.
It doesn't work well.
Still don't work right.
You remember what the front door ran the last time we had it done? Before my
I
time.
don't know.
Like
The
how much we
handicap
paid?
door here?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
15,000?
that was just what, two years ago?
Yeah, we sunk a lot of money in those doors. They didn't replace the doors, did they, Debbie?
Well, when the building was put back together.
No.
No,
Didn't they
Years
not
ago,
like-
we had the
Didn't they do a
handicap.
retrofit on
No.
that door?
On the openers, they just put the openers on
Yeah,
the
they
door,
just
yeah,
had the openers on.
yeah,
So they kept the existing doors, put the,
yeah.
put the mechanical bar on. Okay. I guess we,
I don't see anything as far as streets and roads coming up. Trucks and stuff are in
You
good
can tell them how
shape.
much we paid for ours.
oh, who cares?
I do wanna put a switch so they can open the doors up, but that's only, that should be under, I don't.
Okay.
Trucks are in good shape.
That's all that I can see.
That's it, yeah.
That's all I can see for
I
now.
mean, the pickup's all rusted out, but it's only got 30,000 miles on it. It just basically, it's over 12 years old,
Wow.
but it doesn't have the mileage on it, and it's got all that body work on it, so.
Not in dire need.
No.
Okay.
I don't think, you know, I go out and spend 80,000 for a truck that they hardly use except for plowing snow. And we just had, a bunch of stuff done to it.
Okay, so that's about it for now, right?
Any other, council, any other questions for now, for tonight?
So for next meeting, you'd like the added expenditure column to this worksheet.
And balance to it. Whatever balance was.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you like me to change the across the board percentage on raises, or want to try a different number?
Yeah, there's that. I guess we have to figure out what percentage we want.
You can do it like 4%, 3%, 2%. You can do a breakdown.
I could, I mean, it would be, so if I do it at 4%, it has an increase, it has an impact on the revenue and the expense side.
Mhm.
And then if I do it again at 3%, I have to calculate the revenues and the expenses again, so there would be more than one of these documents to follow, that's all.
Why don't we just agree in percentage?
And then.
And then we'll eliminate all that.
But that's why you've got a group.
And that's off the table by getting Hector a little extra.
No, you.
You could do that
guys
in closed
decide.
session too.
Yeah, you guys
What's
decide.
You could do that in closed session, right?
What do you mean, close session?
Like for, employees. like
Right.
During our council
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah.
You could ask them to come in. and-
Personnel.
Yeah, personnel.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, you
If that's
guys,
what you want to do.
this is not my, you know, this is,
No, I'm saying that, yeah, we need to figure that
Well,
out,
if I-
because I don't know what we gave Debbie last year, what was it, Debbie T? Like $6 or something?
it was a,
Now, she got a raise also.
it was all, it was factored in, it was tied to her passing the clerk's exam and getting her license.
Yeah.
And which she did around mid-year. So we did a mid-year adjustment on her salary, and it was done by resolution at the meeting.
How about if we put the road crew on, evaluations?
Okay, just tell me what number you want me to use. And, you know,
I mean, that's up to the personnel, not on personnel. You know, everybody 2%, but, you know, if you wanna give Hector more money,
Well, didn't We have to go, that should be a closed session, because that's personnel. We have to talk, we'd have to.
Well, I'm not talking money now, I'm just throwing out
So
suggestions.
we'd have to talk about that in closed session.
So right now, we're just discussing the 2% or 3%.
We do Debbie in closed session?
Right.
Across the
Yeah.
board over here.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
All
for
right,
everybody.
Yeah.
we always figure
And
something.
then maybe we could take, if he really wants to, bring it in later.
This was a real rough draft, loose document, to hear what you guys wanted out of this year's budget, so that, we could have a starting point for conversations. Okay? So if you want me to use a different overall wage percentage, if there are projects that, it doesn't sound like there are any, that I didn't address based on the conversations that Debbie and I had for next year, sounds like all the projects that we needed to take care of are built in here, there's nothing else we need to add.
Right.
So if there is a different wage percentage that you guys want me to run with, I'll recalculate the budget using that different wage rate. Come back to you next meeting with that new wage rate and an expenditure column on this document, so you can see where we were at.
So let me ask you one question, how much money, used to, I don't know, somebody went that around, was it you or Derek? We found like $129,000, and then we bought the truck out of that.
Before I got here, before my time.
You know how much is left of that? Would that be capital improvement?
Yeah, there was money left in capital for the purchase.
How much is in there?
Off the top of my head, I'd have to go grab.
I mean, right now I'm saying I don't need a truck, but I mean, if it comes due like the end of the year and the pickup blows up or something, we need a new truck, or we gonna have the money for it.
You shouldn't, because they both drive in one truck.
Well, yeah, they don't use the pickup except to plow snow. We had a lot of work done, but I'm just looking to the future.
Yeah, last I checked, it was a big truck. And this is going on memory, but it was about $9,500 left in the purchase.
9,500? I don't know what we spent it on.
But I don't have the capital budget, I don't have the capital figures in front of me right now.
Right.
That's not that's not the operating budget.
Yeah.
That's money we
Right.
have.
So I would say if the truck blows up in September or something, we're really out of luck then.
No, you're fine. You've got plenty of money over in capital to pass an ordinance to purchase.
Capital improvement.
Yeah,
Oh,
yep.
I mean, we just put a lot of work in that truck, so I don't, I mean, it's over 12, I'm sure it's over 12 years old, but.
All right, so we need to say what percentage, all right, that everyone wants, across the board. I say 2%. Raise, it's up to you guys, you gotta say high or low.
I didn't hear the percentage.
2%.
2%. We got 5 last year.
She suggests, what else?
Years before that,
Social
we
Security
only
was
got
5.8.
2%.
It's just a suggestion. Just a
You
rough
can
draft, yeah.
throw off
I was
different
going
numbers.
to
2,
suggest a
3.
different amount, that's fine.
What?
You can do
I
that.
was going to suggest 3%.
I agree with
Work it up for 3 and 2.
Okay.
3 and 2, yeah.
Okay.
3 is good.
And we still get 3. With a session.
Please.
I have to learn
Please.
voice.
Oh, that's fine.
Everybody, including them too.
That's, the budget's a work in process.
Yeah.
And, granted, it's not as huge of a process here because you guys are small.
Yeah.
So in a couple of meetings, usually let you knock it out.
So if we wanted to give them a
Well, I'd
3
say this
and
takes
an
months to
extra.
count it. It takes months.
We wanted to give them 3% and an extra on top, that would be in there.
Yeah, that you're talking about for,
Yeah, Hector.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But we'd have to discuss them out in close session.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
All right, council, I'd like a motion to open the meeting to the public.
So motion open on the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jim Janelle, 15 Franklin Road. I don't know how the county does it, but once again in their fiscal year, they said they're gonna be at a 0 tax increase, which I don't know why you guys can't do that here. Because what's the proposed tax increase?
Right now, it says right at 2%.
2% additional overall. Like, what's that calculate the dollars for the entire town?
Around 14,000 for the year.
I meant per household and everything.
I,
Oh, you didn't break it down for that? Okay, I don't always find what
nope, didn't break it down that far, because we don't that
Okay.
far along in the process.
All right, these raises you're talking about, you don't have that many employees here. I don't know why you can't do a merit-based raise system. Dover did that. Dover also, because they just recently did something with their salary. And they gave individual people, merit raises based on what they felt they should be at. A lot of their employees are union, so they're locked into a union contract. So I don't know why you guys can't do merit-based instead of giving 2%, because one employee here last year, didn't she get almost 20% increase in raise without mentioning names?
It was 15.
Well, I think I calculated it was 21%.
Altogether.
And now we're gonna give an additional 2 or 3%. And she just got a major raise. And we have one employee who's not really up to the level he should be at, which you mentioned.
Becker.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a
You
lot of.
can't mention his name.
I didn't mention his name, that's
You
why I
can't
said I'm not
mention his name,
mentioning
that's
names.
personnel.
I'm just saying, you have one employee who's kind of not up there with other employees. You got a lot of lopsided stuff all over the place. Council certainly doesn't need to have a raise, do you? You're doing the same job you've been doing for how many years now? No increase in responsibilities. So why should you get, I mean, calculate how much your 3% raise would be and how it's gonna affect the budget. How much interest did we earn, by the way, for last year? How do you hear that number mentioned?
56,875.
That's pretty good, because I don't think we ever made that kind of money on interest.
I've taken a much more active hand in managing our investments, and the rates have rebounded.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I know interest has changed. When you were talking about the sewer rates, because you mentioned this before, I believe based on the numbers I got from, who did the sewer bills here? It was a tax collector, right, Debbie? I think the numbers I got from her at that time was between 135 and 140 collected revenue. And we're expending between 95 and 110,000 a year. So we're left over with $20,000 to $30,000.
That'd be incorrect.
Well, will you tell me what the number is? Because based on the numbers she gave me,
Your collection's close.
yeah.
Your expenses for the RVRSA are
What
higher.
did we spend on RVRSA? What was it, like 103,000 or something like that?
No, that's old information.
I just picked the number, I
Well,
thought that's where
we all have the luxury of picking our numbers out of the air.
Well, no, I'm picking out a number that I knew.
Facts and stuff.
Okay,
So what was the sewer rate for last year? Overall, around RVRSA?
Our total cost of the RVRSA was 116,127.
Okay, I wasn't that far off. All right, so between 116,000, say 135,000, where is all the years we've been collecting all the sewer money, where's all the excess money going?
What's your definition of excess?
Well, if you're taking in, say, 140, and you're only paying out 116, you have an overage of money that you've collected. And you do that every year.
That has contributed to the borough's surplus and has helped.
Well, when
the
you're
tax rate.
talking about raising the sewer rate, you're not taking into account all the extra money. You've never been behind or in the red on collecting sewer versus your sewer fee.
By your definition. yes.
No, by the numbers, I mean, numbers
The,
don't lie.
the operating assessment paid to the RVRSA is only one of the operating costs of running the street utility.
Okay, what's the other operating cost?
You have the salaries of the people who handle the collections in the building.
Which is minimal, that's what, once a year we send out a bill. That's minimal, minimal.
All those
impact.
receivables need to be documented, recorded, chased.
Okay, so what does it cost for all that?
It's part of the collector's, it's part of the collector's salary.
So you're saying that took up another $20,000?
That's part of the overhead
No,
associated with
that's
running a
not
street
right.
utility.
No,
That's your
not right.
opinion.
That's my opinion, that's based on factual numbers. Let me ask.
General
you this.
administration of the borough is part of the overhead of running.
It's not that much on administration, I'll tell you right now. It's a small town.
Yeah, your opinion.
Let me ask you this, how come we don't do what other towns have done in regards to the setting the sewer rate? Based on the water billing, on the number of cubic feet of water or gallons, they would bill you based on that amount going down the drain, figuring that would be fair and reasonable. Because you have like the laundromat, who probably has thousands of gallons going down the drain versus the house across the street, which may be only 1,000 gallons. How come nobody looked at that? And I'm sure Dover Water would give you the gallons that they measure on every single house that has a meter. That would be a more fair system of saying, well, we can justify a rate increase or not.
Well, we were just talking about that at the
Yeah, but
beginning of the
you didn't
meeting.
talk about doing individual based on water
We
consumption.
were talking about that at the beginning of the meeting. We didn't get into specifics about it.
No, I didn't hear nothing mentioned about using Dover Water.
No, we didn't say anything about Dover at all. We talked about it right here.
I didn't hear you mention nothing about how much is consumed. Like, you have to have a number. I don't know why Leon Hall's involved, because he doesn't have those numbers. But what I'm saying is Dover Water Department knows how much water everybody uses here. That can be put in use with the sewer to come up with a formula, because Dover did this a long time ago. Your sewer rate was based on the water that you used.
That's what I said when I said we had to do an analysis of the sewer rates from Michigan.
But I didn't hear
We have
nothing.
to look at gallons
nothing.
being used, and then we're currently only charging overage fee for those folks using more than 80,000 gallons of water a quarter.
Well, it's not just as simple of saying we have to look at it. You have a lot of other factors to take into account as well.
Well, this was just the beginning of us discussing
Yeah, but
exactly
what I'm
what's
saying
going
is-
on with the sewer. And plus, we haven't even heard back from RSVR SA to see exactly what they're gonna charge us anyway.
Well, they have controlled gallonage down there because they have a meter on the system. They can tell you exactly how much sewage goes out of the borough, if you wanna know that. That's all I gotta say about that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Anyone else in the public? I'd like a motion to close the meeting to the public.
So motion for the
All in favor?
My family knows
I have a
from the county.
question.
Yeah.
I work
Can you
for
tell
the
me, is there any way that we can not raise taxes this year instead of what, 2%?
In circles all the time.
To
But
not,
we try with a zero tax rate?
yeah, see what we could do without raising the taxes for the
Sure.
town?
Look at that $1 million we had, they said over the last 20 years or something, we pulling out of that?
We are,
How much?
$28,000 a year.
$48,000 a year.
Yep.
Okay.
So you could figure that out?
Yeah.
Very, that'd be good.
That's why it's called a work session.
Mhm.
We spitball, we talk about it, we talk about concepts.
Very good. Any other questions, council?
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So motion to adjourn the meeting?
All in favor?
One's a $3 million
Thank you.
building and
Thank you, Joe.
trust me, I know a lot of people high up in the county. They don't like it. Good. It's facts.
Take care.
See you guys next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.